You must listen to this entire message before entering a selection. To accept this call, press 5. To refuse this call, hang up now. To block this call and all future calls, press none. You may enter a selection now.
Welcome. Hello.
Hi, I'm Savannah. I never introduced myself.
I know. I'm Aundrea. This is To Accept This Call,
The podcast where we talk about incarceration and all of the things that come with it.
Like all the things.
Every single thing. And today is going to be kind of more of like a kind of chill episode. Some of the ones that we've been doing lately have been a little bit heavy hitting, a lot of...
A little intense.
Yeah, intense is a good word. We're going to talk about what our boyfriends, Benjamin and Jake, do throughout the day in prison. What a typical day in prison looks like in the Iowa Department of Corrections. So I guess just to start it out, like a typical day in the life of Fort Dodge Correctional Facility prison. That's redundant, but whatever. So right before COVID, obviously is what we're going to be talking about because it's a very different situation now. But before COVID, Ben and Jake were roommates and they were living on the Floyd unit. And the Floyd unit is considered the honor unit. We talked about this a little bit. So they do get a little bit more privileges than other people within that facility. So some of the things that apply to Ben and Jake are not going to necessarily apply to everybody that is in Fort Dodge. So just keep that in mind.
Absolutely. Yeah, they get, like before COVID, like we talked about, they had the dog program there, which Jake was a trainer for, I guess you would say. And then Ben got like certified to help out in that. So he was able to like take the dogs outside or take them into the visiting room, stuff like that. And so they get I wouldn't say a lot more, but they do get more privileges and more benefits of being on the honor unit. And it's something that you have to like work your way up to. You don't just automatically get placed. And if you like go to the hole or anything like that, you have to work your way back up the level system. So we're pretty darn proud of them for being on Floyd and the luxuries that they do get.
For sure. One of the privileges that comes with being on Floyd unit is the fact that they do only have to have one roommate and that's it, as well as the fact that they don't have toilets or drinking fountains in their cells. It's just beds and like a little bit of floor space, I guess. A lot.
Yeah, I imagine it like a college dorm room almost, where you have like your room and then you have like a shared bathroom and showers. That's how it was when I went to college.
Yeah, exactly. But I still think it's be much smaller room as well. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some of the privileges that they get with that is that they get to only have one roommate as compared to the other units that they have to have 3 or 4 or 5. So that's really exciting. And so I guess like to start out their day, so Jake works for IPI, so his schedule is a little bit different. He will work 2 days on, 3 days off, 3 days on, 2 days off, over and over and over again. And he works 12-hour shifts. So for the 12 hours a day, he's pretty boring. He's at work. He's doing his job, So I'm going to talk about the other days where he is not up at 5 o'clock in the morning having to go to work. If anybody has questions about that, please feel free to reach out. I can elaborate on it. But his day is pretty boring when he's at IPI all day. So we're going to talk about what a normal other kind of day would look like when he's not working at IPI. On Floyd unit, they're not allowed to come out of their cells and move around freely until I want to say 7 o'clock in the morning. Is that accurate? I think.
Yes, I believe that's right. Because like we talked about, they used to be able to be out like all night, come and go pretty much as they please, use a phone whenever they wanted to. And that's the thing too, is like if somebody fucks something up for them, then they all reap the repercussions. Like it's not just them that get in trouble, it's like the whole unit or the whole prison. And
what was it really that got them their late nights taken away? I'm not exactly sure.
So what happened was Fort Dodge had a fire. Did you know that? Yeah. So yeah, they were working on the kitchen and Fort Dodge had a fire. That the area that the schooling was in that section of the building, and so school was canceled for a while. But they still had maintenance people go in there and clean while in the schooling area. So what happened apparently was that they have the, I don't know, internet cord. They were supposed to have it locked up in a box, but they never really had a teacher in there. It was supposed to, I guess it was just a CO in there or something, but then never got locked up. And so this sex offender, rapist dude went in and had his laptop or something that they had for school plugged it in and the internet cord didn't register like the IP address or whatever it's called, the IP address. And so it gave him full access to the internet. Yeah. And so I guess he went and searched like all these COs, got information on them, all their Facebook stuff, social media stuff. Then he also found his the girl's victim's Facebook page and sent her messages about how he was like gonna get out and I don't know if he said like kill you or like harm her or like have repercussions or something like that. Yeah. And so they found out, and then he was unemployed, so they shut down, like everybody went on lockdown for I don't even know, a couple of days. And then because it was almost like a what I want to say, like a system-wide thing in the sense that it was like a security breach.
Yeah, that's why now they can't go wherever they want, whenever they want. Yeah. So 7 a.m. I was like, where do we come from this? Yeah, 7 a.m. is when they can like get out and move around for the day. They have access to the phones, they have access to the unit, they can go out on the yard. At no time during the day though are they allowed to go into other units unless like somebody calls for them, like a staff member were to call for them. So like if they wanted to go find their friend, like if they needed to go get somebody that lives in another dorm, they'd have to they'd have to whatever, they'd have to stand outside of that, and as somebody was entering it or coming out, they'd be like, hey, go get this guy. So there's all of that is just one of the layouts of the facility, I guess. What time does Ben usually wake up for the day?
It depends on his mood.
Yeah.
Well, he was working before COVID, he was working at the library, so usually he's such a maniac, so he would kind of like come and go as he pleased. Plus, like, I don't think the library really had like set hours necessarily. It's one of those that like if somebody wants to open it up and work it, then they're gonna do that, you know. And he worked at like the weight yard before, and that was the same way too, where it's like they have to have like a CO come and unlock that like unit or the area. But so sometimes he would be like, oh, I have to work at 2 o'clock, and then he would go and nobody had unlocked it, and it's just like, okay, like, that's awesome, you know.
Funny that like he says that because Jake has told me before, he's like, it wasn't even open, I went all the way over there, it wasn't even open.
Yeah,
because he needs something out of the library or whatever it is.
Yeah. So that was always frustrating, I think, for Ben, is like, and that's why I think he felt like he could come and go as he pleased, and it was just like, all right, well, I don't really want to be here, like I'm gonna go and call Aundrea really quick, bye, you know. So
they do kind of have that freedom in the sense. So Jake works at IPI and he also works in the VR, the visiting room. So they kind of have that like ability to pop in and out of work if they're cool with their bosses. You know, some days it's harder, some days it's not. But they kind of just get to just roam around freely for the most part, you know.
Yeah.
I know that, like, so when Jake works in the visiting room on his days off from IPI, he'll get up around, like, he has to be there usually, like, between 8 and 8:30 because that's when, like, it starts to open and he has to set it up and everything like that. And there's a little bit of accountability involved in that where, like, if he doesn't show up and, like...
If he doesn't show up, there's nobody to take our pictures.
Yeah, exactly. Or if he doesn't show up, actually, this has happened a couple times where, like, sometimes we'll be on the phone and he's like, I gotta go to work. I'm like, don't leave me. And so then if he's supposed to be at work and a CO sees that he's on the phone, they'll listen to his call to be like, what's he doing? And so then when he gets to work, they like quote what he was saying to me.
Oh my God.
Yeah, like,
that's
like,
hilarious.
I love you so much. They're like, I love you so much. It's like so embarrassing. And one of the questions that we got was if they're required to have a job while in prison, and they're not required, but I mean, most people want a little bit of extra money, so I think they're gonna try to get jobs. Extra
money, and then I think they like the responsibility too of just having something to like look forward to in the day besides like calling us, and just have, you know, it's kind of like a social atmosphere too, especially like Jake working in the visiting room. He gets to interact with all different kinds of people and kids and, you know, stuff like that. So I think
the old ladies.
He loves the old ladies.
He loves the old ladies. He loves flirting with the old ladies in the visiting.
Why am I not surprised?
They love flirting with him too, so. And you can kind of tailor it to what you're interested towards. There's different jobs that people can have. There's laundry, there's the cooking, the cleaning, there's general maintenance, like people to fix the phones. Like Aundrea said, Ben works in the library. People work in the weight yard as orderlies. Which brings us to the next point too, that like Jake and Ben are freaking crazy about working out.
It's so stupid. I mean, Ben was working out like 2 times a day there for a while, and I'm just like, I don't know how you, I mean, I guess if there's like really nothing else to do, but it's just like, I get bored really easily too, so I don't know. Another thing kind of going along with the gym is they get to play sports in there, which I think is like super cool. I know that's kind of where Ben really likes to like spend a lot of his time too, is he's like on a basketball league there. I think Jake plays softball with them. They're like on a softball team. Is there anything else? Is
Well,
this basketball?
they have this one kind of game that I can't think of what it's called. It's Hoover Ball, I think is what it's called. They have like a Hoover Ball tournament. Jake also volunteers or works. I don't know. He does too much for me to keep up with in like the actual gym area too. So he like organizes a lot of those tournaments and like he'll ref them and you know whatever they have. But they have like little leagues, you know, here and there, and you can win prizes if you're on that wins. Yeah, like you can win a whole thing of like laundry detergent, which like
that's like Ben's favorite.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can win like a whole thing of laundry detergent and like some soaps or whatever you get, which is another just cool thing. And I think that with sports too, it obviously like encourages, you know, like communication. It encourages like positivity. I would hope, you know, guys can get competitive, obviously.
I'll tell you what, I think it also encourages like problem solving, because Ben has told me like stories about just like people reffing it or this and that, and how he's like, I was so angry, but then I had to like calm down, and I went up to him. I'm like, dude, that like pushed me. How is that not a foul? He was like, I know, I was just being an ass. Like, you're too good, or, you know, like whatever the case. And I'm like, good, like problem solving skills, good. Not necessarily in the way that I would communicate on, but we're getting there.
No, but it's nice that they have those like real world skills that they can apply in there to kind of help them on the outside too. And you don't really get that opportunity much out here. Like I can't think of, you know, if you're gonna play on a softball league, you're gonna pay money for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you can't just like go have a bunch of friends. I mean, I don't really know of a lot of places that you can have a bunch of friends that are like, let's just go play this pickup game of basketball. Sometimes, but it's like all these coordinating schedules. But it's just nice to have a community in that sense that you can have a positive outlet.
Yeah, I think that's really cool.
We can talk about like count times if you want to talk about.
Oh yeah.
Because there's a lot of times where they have to report to their room, or wherever they're at, if they're at work or wherever, to get counted, to make sure that they're all accounted for.
Right. So they have to, usually it's about a half hour long. And so they'll have count from like 11 to 11:30. And depending on where they're at, like they, you know, like if they're at work, they'll get counted there. Or, you know, when I go visit Ben, he's gotten counted multiple times when we have visits. Basically, like in the visiting room, what they do is they have their little IDs. Ben's is like from when he first went to prison 13 years ago, and he looks like such a little baby. It doesn't even look like him. I'm like, nobody would ever know this is you. Anyway, so then it has like a little barcode, and then so they'll start count, and the shift captain is the one who says when count is. So sometimes, even if it's supposed to be at 11, if shift captain is like busy doing like whatever, it might not start until 11:10 or 11:15 or something like that. But so then in the visiting room, they'll come around. They have like this little, almost like phone type thing, and they scan the barcode on their badge, and then it just, their name and ID and information, like MA information, like pop up. And then after one CO goes around, then the other one goes around and does the same thing. So they have, I don't even know how many counts during the day, at least 3 or 4 during like daytime hours. I think at night it's only like 2 or 3 maybe. But yeah, and then in their cells, I know that they have like, because they do them at like 2 o'clock in the morning sometimes, and they have just like a little barcode on the wall, and then they like look in your room, make sure you're in there, and then they scan it from your wall. So, but when you're on count, you can't like leave your cell. You got to be there. You got to hunker down for a half hour.
Sometimes you have to be standing, is what I've heard, like that you have to like be up and present for the count. If you're sleeping during count, you could get in trouble or something like that.
Yeah, I know you don't have to be like, a lot of like movies show them like outside the door and just like straight, you know, and I don't think it's necessarily like that, at least not on Floyd, to where they, some COs don't care if you're sleeping. They'll just be like, whatever, especially if they know if you work like late at night or 12-hour days or whatever the case may be. But some of them are just buttholes and don't let you sleep. They want you at least up and alert, and just got to know like what COs you, not want to say like manipulate, but that you can be a little bit more relaxed around, and then others, you know, like they don't play that. So
following down the rest of the day. So after they've worked out, which is like depending on the time, whatever, after they've done whatever, we can talk about, so like mail call. They get a mail call, and Jake doesn't take any pills, so they have a pill call where, you know, people who need medicine will get their medicine. Then they it's pretty much exactly what you think it is. There's not much more to elaborate on.
Yeah.
That. 2 times a day pill call. But then the mail call is like you go up and you look, and they'll have your name highlighted on whether or not you got mail And the mail could really be anything. Maybe you probably sent Ben a lot more mail in your time than I've sent Jake. So maybe you could talk on like what is accepted in the mail, because that was a question that we got. Like, what can't you send? I know.
I know, like, I've just sent him like letters before, and then I've sent him pictures, both provocative and non-provocative.
Yeah.
But provocative is like bikini pictures, you know, like stuff like that. Like, you can't really. So basically, when it comes to like provocative pictures, you can't show nipple or any holes. That's basically how they just like been describing it to me. He's like, you can't. So like, you can like cover up or put like emojis or something on it, but like basically you're probably just better off like sending like bra and underwear pics, or like you can send cards, but like I'm pretty sure the cards have to be, I always like to get them cards from like the Dollar Tree, because A, they're $1, and B, they're hilarious sometimes. And they can't usually have like any glitter, perfume. You can't like kiss it with lipstick, like anything that's like, what I want to say, not a part of it already, is like, they'll just like deny it.
Yeah,
So
you can't glue stuff, you can't put stickers, like, because you could be hiding. Jake told me that they don't really allow crayon either and stuff. I don't know if you've heard this. He said they don't allow crayon anymore because people would melt down the crayons, put drugs in the crayon, and then scribble all over it, and then you could melt it again and take. I was like, people are so creative,
so
like,
crafty. I would never in a million years think of that.
I'm not trying to give anybody any ideas or anything.
No, I know, but
mind blown. I was like,
I know.
who thinks to do that? And I'm gonna wrap myself out a little bit in regards to mail, and I'm like so embarrassed, and I'm like, sorry, Mom, but like I have sent pictures in like a swimsuit, and they get denied. Like maybe because it's like a little bit like cheeky or something, you know? They're like, and they always will say like on the denial slip, because what will happen if you get a picture that's been denied? They give the person like a slip that is a pink little sheet that says, you know, you have mail that was denied, and here's the reason why, and then what do you want to do with it? So
yeah, they can either send it back or shred it, I think.
Yeah, or like appeal it. I think you can.
Oh, okay. Yeah, probably.
No idea. But like it'll say why. And so like I sent a picture one time and it said top and bottom half must be covered. And I was like, I was wearing it. Like I was so annoyed, and I was just like,
that's weird.
And then again, I'll wrap myself out. I sent one a few weeks ago where I was like it was a combination of like child's pose and downward dog pose on my bed. If that like,
I was gonna say there can't be any provocative poses, because that's got me in trouble too.
Yeah, but I was fully clothed. I had on a dress that covered everything, and it got denied. But I sent it again last week, and he got it today. So I was like, okay, what the heck?
It's so weird. So
depends on who's working the mailroom or what.
Well, I think Ben has told me that as far as pictures go, because I'm like, I don't want whoever is all these like male CEOs seeing me in a freaking bikini. Like, that's none of their business. I mean, I have pictures of Facebook, like, whatever, but still, it's not for them. And so he said, and I don't know if this is true, and just like trying to ease my little heart or something, but he's like, it's like little old ladies that are like contracted out who work in like the mail room. And so he's like, if he gets denied, they're probably just jealous. So
they're like, my body used to look like that.
Like when I was 22. Like, yeah. So I also know that a lot of my pictures have gotten denied because, not surprising by any means, of alcohol.
Yeah.
So like I'll send him like hundreds of pictures at a time, because I'll have like 4 months worth of vacations like stacked up, and so I'll just send them all in this like huge package, and then at least probably 20 of those get sent back because there's like some sort of alcohol or something resembling alcohol.
Yeah, you can't have that in there, which I think is so crazy. Like some of the things that they don't allow, you can't. Another fun fact, they can't watch R-rated movies, and it's like they're all over the age of 18, and it's 17. That's the thing, anyways.
And they're all in prison. So nothing that they haven't already seen or done.
Yeah, and I'm like, what is the? I mean, I understand that they don't want it to be something extremely violent or like crazy. I don't know, something. I can't even think of an example. But like, they can't watch an R-rated movie. Like,
no.
What the heck? That's just another little thing too.
So weird.
Yeah. So mail call will happen, pill call will happen, and then food, like dinner wise. I know people have questions about food.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So like they get what, 3 hots and a cot. That's what the saying is, right? Like hot meals a day, which actually isn't even true. It's not even 3 hot meals. But the DOC is required to supply them with a certain amount of calories every day. And anything on top of those amount of calories, you have to buy yourself off of like the commissary list.
Mm-hmm.
And so one of the questions that we got in regards to food is like, what kind of food did they get? And it really just depends, but it's also pretty much exactly what you would expect, I would say.
It's gross. I've seen it in real life, like during the visit, because they'll bring in trays and Ben will be like, babe, come here. And then he'll like lift up the tray and he was like, look at this. He's like, I don't even know what this shit is. One time it was like chicken nuggets, and I was like, I've never met a chicken nugget I haven't loved, so maybe you would eat that. But like a lot of times it is. Huh?
Did you try it?
No, I should have been like, can I try it? But I think I did ask, and he was like, you don't want to try it, like it will ruin nuggets for you. And I was like, okay. But and it's not a lot. Like it's like maybe the size of your hand. Like it's not a good portion by any means.
It's comparable to like school lunch.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Like
I would say school lunch is way better, and at least you can go get seconds.
that was another question, is if you can go up and get seconds. And no, you can't. Like you get what you get. And sometimes people, like today, they got chocolate chip cookies, and Jake called me and he had to shove like 6 in his mouth because people would like give him their chocolate chip cookies. I was like, okay.
Yeah, they can like, yeah, they can like give away their food if they don't want something, or a lot of times, like, you know, if you work servery and have like the hookup, you might be able to like spot them. But like I know Ben, I don't know about Jake, but like Ben hardly ever eats state food, as he calls it. I mean, he'll eat stuff off of commissary, and he's usually eating and even then, like stuff off commissary it's like shit that I would eat in college.
Yeah.
It's like ramen, tuna, crackers, rice, beans and rice.
Yeah, the little things. And something I think that's important to keep in mind when I think about that too is that their cost of buying those things is more expensive than it is out here because they mark it up because of obviously prison. But they're still making way less money than we are. So think about like it costs 70 some cents for a pack of noodles, right? For ramen.
Right.
Like, that's it. But they're only making 40 cents an hour. So it's like you almost have to work 2 full hours to buy one package of ramen noodles. Put that in regards, put that in like perspective of what we make out here and that kind of stuff. It's like that's literally robbery. Like that is robbery.
Yeah, you should go to prison for some 2.5 years. The state of Iowa.
Yeah, so that's an example of that, of just the food situation thing. But yeah, you're able to buy things off commissary, and they don't have refrigerators that they can refrigerate stuff. They
get crafty.
Yeah, they do. Go ahead and talk about it.
Oh, I just know Ben has like some what is it, like they had like a styrofoam cooler, or no, it was like a shoe box or something, like okay, hold on, now I'm thinking. Remember I told you guys last episode I'm a really bad listener, so I remember Ben saying it was like a thicker like cardboard box, and they put ice in that, and then I think just refrigerate it through that somehow, and it doesn't like leak.
Yep, and they can get ice, and they can get ice every day. So they have to just like go, and Jake will always be like, I gotta go get ice, I gotta shower. That's what he does at night to make sure that, you know, his stuff stays fresh, whatever. Yeah, that's their ways of getting crafty. They don't have, like, they have a microwave on the unit that they can use, not in their rooms. I don't know if they don't have like they have a hot plate, right? One of those. Yeah, they have like a hot plate.
I imagine it to be kind of like a Scentsy warmer. I don't know. You just like heat up, but bigger, that just like you put food on.
Put their candles in there.
Yeah, they have hot plates that can warm stuff up. I know that they have like a little kitchen area. They have access to like the stove. I don't think they can do stove top stuff, but they can like bake, like put stuff in the oven.
Yeah, like pizza or
yeah.
They have access to that, and then they also, this is a weird one to me, they can get milk whenever they want. They have just like a milk machine that they can get milk. They also have water fountains that they can refill up their own water bottles. And that's kind of what we were talking about with COVID too, was that was the concern, was that because they don't have water fountains and bathrooms in their actual cells, like, and they were restricting them access to those water fountains outside, we were like, hello, how are they going to get
How did they get what?
You know, and it wasn't thought about. So that was a big concern for us, and that was something we kind of talked about with COVID related things. So you need to get a better grasp of that.
Yeah.
Now that late nights are gone, they have to lock down at 10 o'clock. That's when like the phones will get cut off. That's when they have to report back to their cells. Doesn't mean they have to go to bed, but that's
right.
And that's like time, and he gets so mad at me. I'm like, oh, you gotta go to bedtime? I'm like, it's your bedtime now, huh? Yeah.
Yeah, they have to be like have all their stuff done. The only reason that they can come out after 10 is like to use the bathroom.
So that's like a typical day, I guess. It's pretty simple. Like, you know, and again, this is just speaking from an Iowa correction standpoint at a state level. If you're, you know, if anybody that you know is at a federal level, it's completely different. If they're in a different state, it's completely different. Like, it just depends.
Yeah. Maybe we'll answer my friend Jordan's question on the TV versus reality episode, because I feel like a lot of people will ask, like, you know, questions about like sex in there, and
probably a lot to unpack there than we would even
Yeah,
thinking about.
anticipate to
Yeah,
be.
exactly. What do you want to talk about, like the structure of the rest of our podcast season, like while we're in it?
Okay. Yeah, let's talk. Okay, so the next episode we are going to do a TV versus reality, because we get a lot of questions about, like, every day when we tell people about our boyfriends, like kind of comparing it to like Orange is the New Black, or like a lot of people like to compare, I don't know if you've had this yet, but like Prison Break, because he has like a first-degree robbery and that, and they're like, but does it work this? And I'm like, nope, that's all for movies, that's all for TVs. But then there is a lot of things that like they are accurately depicting, like food, so we're just going to kind of talk about the differences. So that's kind of fun, and we hope people ask us questions, because it's been a while since I watched like Orange is the New Black. And then so after that episode, we are going to do a question and answer, right, with Jake and Ben.
Yes. Yep.
And so we want your questions to ask them. We're going to try to get some audio clips from them and ask them, and then play it on here for you guys. And then you can actually kind of hear them and hear what they sound like and get to know them through that. I think will be really cool. So if you have any questions for Ben or Jake pertaining to anything that we talked about, like this season at all, whether it's like their crime, their sentence, their life, their goals, anything like that. And then we decided that we're going to be real crazy and do a live episode for our last, because we decided we're going to do seasons. We're going to do like 10 episodes, and then we're going to take a break for, I don't know, maybe a month, just kind of get our shit together, re-outline things. And we're going to do some more like investigations. We have like a lot of people that we want to talk to and bring on, maybe like former CEOs, and kind of get their perspective. I know I want to bring on one of like my family friends who works in North Carolina, who is a physical therapist at a state prison. I have a friend here who is a paralegal. I know we were talking about like we weren't going to have a lot of guests, but I think that's just kind of what, I mean, I know it's just like about us and our relationships, but it'll be interesting to bring different people's perspectives, and especially how maybe we can like grow through our relationship with other people's perspectives in it.
For sure. And
so
that can be sort of what season 2 is tailored more towards, is like more of the interview side of things, once we've had time to prepare and like kind of get our ducks in a row, or get them covered, whatever you want.
Yeah, whatever works. It's better if you cover them and then you just don't see how cute they are.
Exactly. I'm gonna see if we missed any questions on like that are super important.
Yeah, and then I'll just to kind of wrap up the rest of the season. So yeah, our last episode, what, on YouTube you think we're gonna go live? Probably.
I'm not sure how that can work.
We'll let you know
in different places, but we'll figure it out.
Yeah, either YouTube or maybe Instagram or Facebook. We don't know. We'll figure out what platform, but we're gonna go live, and so we want everybody to tune in and say hi and talk to us in real time and not edited time, so you can like really get to know us.
Yeah.
And how like weird and fun and crazy we are.
Yeah, definitely all of those things. Okay, a couple questions. So some of these too, knowing that Jake and Ben are going to be on an episode, which I have not told Jake that yet, but I'm sure he will.
I haven't told Ben either.
He'll be fine with it. He'll be excited. Some of them I'm going to table for them because they know a little bit about it more than we do. Like in regards to, I have a friend named Will who asked, I'm curious how often they may fear for their own safety. That's a good question. I don't know, Yeah. Jake and Ben will know. Another one that was asked about it was, what's their favorite and least favorite meal, and like how many fights occur on a daily or weekly basis, and can you request a room change if your roomie is a psycho? They probably have a couple more stories that they can tell like that than we'd be able to kind of elaborate on. So I'm gonna keep these all. I'll table them and then make sure that we ask them those as well. A couple of the ones that stick out to me that maybe we didn't quite hit on just yet, which is okay because there's a lot. And
like I said, Jordan, we will answer your question probably next episode. So
we'll
so let him know that we didn't like overlook that because they're like too shy or anything. It just didn't really fit in an average day, or did it?
It does fit in an average day.
It kind of does.
Have to figure out where. Okay, Nicole. Love Nicole. Shout out Nicole. You're the best. She says, what is provided and what do they have to buy? Toilet paper, toothbrushes, shower shoes, etc.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty much all of that I think that they have to buy. I think they like provide like toothbrushes at a state level, but they're just like nothing. You know what I mean? Like they're not
only one. Like don't you get one when you get there and then you don't get it again? Like
probably, unless you buy it off commissary. Yeah.
And in regards to like clothing wise, I didn't know this either, but you can, they give you, I think, what is it, like 6 shirts and 2 pairs of jeans or something like that, and 1 coat. So like if you have a shirt that's busted or whatever, you can get rid of it and they'll give you a new shirt for free, because IPI is actually the place that makes the shirts. So they'll do that. But you also have the opportunity to buy different clothes when they do like fundraisers through different groups.
Yeah. And like shoes and stuff too.
And then, another question is, how often is laundry day? Like, how does laundry work, I guess, is another question.
I know Ben doesn't, when he's on Floyd, he doesn't do, so they have like the state laundry where they put all their clothes in a laundry bag, and then that gets tossed into like an industrial washer and dryer that you might have, like 15 other people's bags in there. Most people do that, but I know on Floyd, they have like their private laundry, and I think they might have like actual like small washing machines, and so you can get like, they have people that work the laundry room, so you can take them and they'll put it in a wash separately and use your detergent.
Yep. And like a lot of the times too, if you do like the big industrial, what I've heard of is that your laundry will come up missing. Like if you have, something that's a little bit better, some people think that it's their right to just take it. So it'll come up missing, whatever. So that's kind of just another perk of being on Floyd. And Jake actually, of course he freaking does this. He's so Leo only child. And I'm not saying anything, like I just can't, but he pays somebody else to do his laundry on Floyd, because he'll just give his
Ben does that every once in a while too.
He gives his buddy SK money like every month to do his laundry. I'm just like, just do your own damn laundry.
Also, they have like barbers in there, and so they get like haircuts, and they can pay for haircuts or like trade suit or whatever. Basically that's like the way, like Ben always told me that like pops are the like currency. So he'll be like, oh, Seth cut my hair and gave him 2 pops. Exactly. Like I wish I could go to the hair salon and just give my hairstylist 2 pops. Like
I know. So I think that pretty much covers it. We did it. A whole day in the life.
Whole day in the life.
Did it.
If you have any other questions, let us know. We might have skipped over something.
Yeah. Please keep reaching out to us. Please keep asking questions. We thank every single person that listens and cares and is interested. It's so fun.
I know. It's so cool, like hearing people. Like I just had my friend Leah today. Shout out to Leah. She's a sweet baby angel. She was like, I listen to your podcast every Thursday when it comes out, like on the way to work. And I'm like, thank you.
I know, it's so sweet. It makes me feel so good. It really does. Another tip for people, because I do this and I keep wanting to bring it up, but I forget, is that I have such a short attention span. So I totally understand, especially on the longer episodes. If you just speed us up, like if you're listening on YouTube or Apple Podcasts or wherever, if you speed us up to 1.5, or like I do 2 sometimes, because I just don't have the brain that can handle it. Like I promise you, like it is. Not saying that this is bad at normal speed, but if you're kind of like noticing it, just speed us up. Okay. Well, that concludes whatever episode this is.
7?
Probably.
Yeah, because Ben's was 6, I think 7.
Yes.
Absolutely. And then go follow us on all our social media platforms. Yeah. And if you listen to us on Apple Podcasts, go give us 5 stars, leave us a comment. Somebody gave us a 1 star, which whatever. We're not mad about it. We appreciate it. But we would just wish like whoever left a 1 star would like give us some feedback on like what we could do better, right?
Really good point. Yeah, it's like if you really feel that way, that's cool, but just tell us why.
Yeah,
you can change it.
Yeah, is it me and dragging along my words, or is it like Savannah's like listening face? Like we need to know how we can better ourselves. This is our first podcast, and like we just jumped into it. So is it the audio? We're working on it. We're freaking saving up money so we can get good equipment. Like we need feedback. We need both good and bad constructive criticism. So
I do have the worst listening face. She called me out. I'm like, oh yeah.
That's okay. I'm always over here like playing with my face, like.
Oh, that was so funny. Yeah. Whatever it is, just tell us. We'll work.
Yeah, we need to know. We need to know. So follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube.
All of it.
All of it.
Yeah.
Leave us comments. Getting that 1 star, I was like,
we made it.
We made it. Because of dislikers. That's how you know.
If you have haters, you know you're doing something right.
Yeah.
So.
Yes.
Awesome. Yeah. Well, thanks everybody. This is
thank you. We appreciate you all, even you 1 stars. We still love you. Of
course. I don't love you as much, but she's much more sweet baby angel than I am. Okay. Goodbye.
Bye guys.